3 days ago to speak at the highest terrorism conference in the world, a terrorism summit in Herzliya, where the governments of the world will be there, and they want me to talk about spirit wars. Because they heard my message at the Knesset and at Ariel University on spirit wars, I said there are wars on terror, there are ideological wars, but nobody is fighting the spirit wars. And they thought I was thinking out of the box. I was. Because Jesus is out of the box. Spirit wars. Now, how can I understand a world that's groaning? Jesus describes groaning and travailing because it's exhausted its resources. This week, not only did I meet with the Israeli leaders of the nation, but there were major world leaders that I met with. One of them was Paul Wolfson, and two other of the most powerful economic people in the world. One of them was the Tsar for Obama. And these financial people were talking about what they projected that's going to happen in a depleted economy in the globe. They were analyzing world resources, trying to figure out solutions. We're seeing it on every plane. We're seeing it on the environment with earthquakes and tsunamis. We're seeing it economically. We're seeing it militarily. Jesus said in Matthew 20, kingdoms will rise up against kingdoms. This was 2,000 years ago. But you're watching on television kingdoms rising up against kingdoms now in the Middle East. They're exhausted. Their resources are exhausted. So where do you fit in all that? Turn to Genesis, please. Chapter 1, verse 26. This is where you fit in. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 talks about you. Here we go. God's creating you because it's your turn now. And he says, let us make man in our image. I'm getting a little bit of feedback on this mic. After our likeness, and let them have dominion. Then he describes the dominion. Then the next verse, so God created man in his own image. And then he repeats it. In the image of God created he himself, male and female, created them. Now this is an interesting word, because it says he created himself. God created in him and made male and female. So God creates in his image man, male, and female. In his image. Why did he create you in his image? Is it physical? No. It's a spirit image. So why is the spirit image of God inside of you? Well, you'll understand it when you understand the dynamic of graven images. Why does God hate graven images? He hates graven images because you were created in a spirit image, and he does not want anything to block the friendship. God isn't interested in you singing hallelujah, because some of you can't sing at all. And I'm one of the songs. He wants to have friendship. He created you in his image so there'd be friendship, fellowship between you and God. So you're created in a spirit image, and it's your turn to manifest and magnify that spirit image. But how do you do it? In the midst of adversity, in complex problems, in a confusing world, in your own personal issues or DNA. How you do it is you magnify the image of God. If you see it, everyone's magnified something. Some have done it with a little glass through the sun. Others have, you magnify things. You magnify your problems. Some people look at the smallest problem and they go crazy. Oh my God. You magnify issues. But God's saying, magnify my image. How do you do it? Here's how you do it. The image of God is the most powerful source you have to change life. It's like an atom. The man who I met with this week, the reason he likes to meet with me is because in my first meeting with Israel Oman, I only had 15 minutes. And as I was driving to his house, I remembered that I flunked algebra. And this is the smartest mathematician on the planet. And I said, God, I have favor, but no influence. I have equity, but no currency. Can you convert my favor into influence and my equity into currency this morning? Please? And when I got to his house, I asked him one question. I said, Professor, you're a man of faith and a man of science. Please tell me how, in the midst of your Nobel Peace Prize laureate friends, how you can operate in these two realms at the same time. Oh, good question, he said. But there's no time to answer it. Let me walk you to the door. I'll answer one question you didn't ask as we walk to the door. He said, let me calculate the molecules in the lungs of Jesus when he died on the cross and tell you how many there are now. So as we walked to the door, he said, I'm going to take time and density, and as we got to the door, he's going to say goodbye. He said, breathe in. He said, you just breathed in 16 to 18 atoms that were breathed out in the lungs of Jesus. That's how smart this man is. He said, goodbye. I shook his hand and I turned, and I mumbled something, and I didn't know I said it. I said, 2029. Stop, he said. You just said numbers. What? I don't know, it's jet lag. No, you said numbers. I know it was jet lag. Well, what if it wasn't? What if, he said, my lecture on faith and science began somewhere on the 20th page? Wouldn't that be amazing? I myself can't calculate it, nor can any of my students. And as he talked to me, he got so excited, he called Oslo and pulled up 3 days of lectures on game theory, and in the lectures of thousands of pages was his lecture on faith and science, began at the top of the 20th page, ended at the bottom of the 29th. He canceled all of his appointments and you have the whole morning. I said, Professor, please, I know nothing about mathematics. He said, I know. But you just exposed a new field of science that's never been studied. The field of the cerebral mind and the Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit of God. How that the Spirit of God can activate and ignite the cerebral mind to come up with things that are so brilliant. Now, you understand that. But the world I live in, with diplomats and people, it's new to them. And it's astonishing. And they go, wow. How can I magnify the image of God in my life? Well, let me give you an example. I do the Fox Network shows, Fox and Friends, Neil Cavuto, a lot of the shows. I'm the go-to guy for bad news. I'm an analyst for their network and many other networks. They use me. And so when something goes wrong, I'm the guy they call up Shiites, Sunnis, Hezbollah, Hamas, something wrong in the Middle East. And I like to have favor with that network. It's a good one. My father passed away in the month of September last year. And I buried him at 91. Now my father broke both of my arms, strangled me at 11, and left me for dead in my own dry vomit. But God told me, love him unconditionally. Love him unconditionally. Doesn't mean condone what he did. Love him unconditionally. My 6 other brothers and sisters, the only thing that unites them is their hatred of him. They despise him. They won't talk to him. They despise him. But I loved him unconditionally. He passed away. I spoke at the funeral. And I want to honor him, so I tried to think, what can I say that's nice? I couldn't say anything about him as a father, because he really was a really bad one. And the 2 things I found that I could say about him is he was a war hero and he loved his mother. So that's what I mentioned in the funeral. He was a war hero and he loved his mother. But not